Hello everyone, welcome to Milwaukee Music Lessons. My name is Alex Bennett, and in this video, we are in video number 5 of this month already, can't believe it. Talking about harmony. Harmony has been the theme for the month of September here, and so far we've gone through quite the list of things. We've started all the way back from the beginning, talking about the notes inside of the chromatic scale, all the stuff that's available to us. We've talked about intervals. We've talked about the major scale. We've talked about chords. And in today, we're going to combine a whole bunch of those elements, and we're going to talk about chords within the context of the major scale. If you have not watched any of the previous videos, or if you're not familiar with any of these things leading into this, then you might want to go back and watch some of those videos, or you might want to rewatch just to make sure that you're comfortable with them. But otherwise, we are going to move forward today, and we're going to talk about just how do you build chords inside of a major scale. So the major scale has 7 notes inside of it, and from those 7 notes, we can derive the 7 chords that are going to go along with it, right? We talked about, we have 3 types of chords as well. We have the major, the minor, and the diminished chord. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through the major scale here really quickly and talk about, what chords belong where inside of this scale. So let's start with our C major scale, our fancy pants C major scale. Our notes again are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and then finally back to C. And if you remember, we said that our chords that we have here are built on roots, thirds, and fifths. And so that means that we're going to start with if we start with our first chord here with C, we're going to start, that's our root. We skip over the second, which is D, and that brings us to our third, which is E. Skip over the fourth, and then bring us to the fifth, which is G. So our 3 notes are C, E, and G put together. And so now what we need to do is we need to analyze the distance between those 3 notes. And then when we take a look at the distance between those 3 notes, that should give us the formula for what type of chord is it. Is it a major chord? Is it a minor chord? Or is it a diminished chord? So starting with the first intervals, we have C to E. The distance between these two, we have C to C sharp, to D sharp, to E. That's 2 whole steps. That gives us that gives us a major third, or 2 whole steps. And then finally E to G, we have E to F is a half, F sharp, G, that's a step and a half. So in total we have 2 whole steps and a step and a half. That gives us a C major chord. That's our first chord in the scale. Now we can continue on to that. If we start with the next one, D, we have D to F and F to A, right? Because D is our root, E is our second, F is our third, so D to F is our first one, F to G and G to A, that's our third and our fifth, so D, F, and G we have listed here. So let's take a look at those distances, right? If I go D to F, we have a half step, whole step, step and a half before we get to F. So D to F, that's a step and a half distance. And now finally F, we have to go up to A. So F to F sharp is a half. G sharp is a step and a half. And finally A, that's 2 whole steps that we've got there. So step and a half from D to F, 2 whole steps from F to A. That gives us a minor chord there. That's what fits in with the formula that we had before, right? Okay, 2 chords down. Let's continue on. E to G is our first interval, right? E is our root note, F is our second, G is our third, and then we move on. A is our fourth, and B is our fifth. So E, G, B. So now what we need to do is we need to look at the distances again. E to G, that gives us half, whole, step and a half. That's a step and a half distance between those 2 notes. And G to B. So G sharp, A sharp, B. That's 2 whole steps, or a major third. So this gives us a step and a half to 2 steps, that's another minor chord. So far we have 3 chords: C major, D minor, E minor. Those are our 3 chords. Continuing on, starting from F. So F is our root, that means G is our second and A is our third. A is our third, B, C is our fifth. So F, A, C. Going to our distances here, F to A, excuse me. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. That's 2 whole steps. And now A to A sharp or B flat, that's a half step. B, C, that's a step and a half. So 2 followed by 1.5. That gives us a F major chord that we have here. G, starting with our root note, G, A, B is our third, C, D is our fifth. So here we have G, B, D. G to B, we have half, whole step and a half, 2 whole steps. So that's G to B, that's 2 whole steps. B to C is a half, C sharp, D, that's a step and a half. So we have 2 whole steps followed by a step and a half. That's another major chord that we have here. 2 more chords to go, starting from A. A to C is our third, A, B, C. C to D to E is our fifth. So A, C, E, ace. We have A sharp, B, C. That's a step and a half. Now C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. That's 2 whole steps. 1.5 to 2. That gives us an A minor chord here. Last but not least, B. Our root is B. C to D is our third. D to E to F is our fifth. So here we have B, D, F. So B to C, C to C sharp to D, that's a step and a half. D to D sharp to E, E to F, that's another step and a half. So here we finally run into our diminished chord, the last one. B, D, F, step and a half on step and a half, or minor third on top of a minor third. That gives us our B diminished chord. So let's review real fast. I know that I've been flying through these here. We have C major as our 1, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and finally B diminished. And then at that point, we're just repeating on again. C major is where we land on. All right, 7 notes, 7 chords built into the scale, right? We've covered everything so far, yeah? Not quite. There's one other thing that I want to make sure that we understand. So all major scales are built the same, right? We established that early on. And all major chords are built the same, all minor chords are built the same, all diminished chords are built the same. And the cool part about this is that when you look into major scales, you would think that, I think it seems obvious, right? The first chord of every major scale should be a major chord. That kind of seems obvious, right? It's the foundation upon which it's built. But here in C major, the second chord was minor. It was a D minor. Will all minor scales have the same second chord? Will the second chord always be minor, is what I'm asking. The answer to that question is yes. So because all major scales are built the same, they always have the same intervals from one scale to another, from one position in the scale to another. So you can actually, with 100% accuracy, the first chord will always be major, the second will always be minor, the third chord will always be minor, fourth will be major, fifth will be major, sixth will be minor, and the seventh will be diminished, bringing us back to 1. And the cool part about that is that later on, when we start actually analyzing pieces of music and we start looking at what chords are, and you can, with 100% accuracy, you can start to see the patterns of what chords like to stick together, right? And so this is really helpful in communicating, because if you're in a major scale and you're trying to like communicate a chord progression to a band, it'd be very easy to say 1 5 6 4. All right, and that means 1 major, 5 major, 6 minor, 4 major. And you can transpose that to any key. You can do that starting in F, you can do that starting in G, E flat, whatever key. Every major scale is going to always have the same pattern of chords in the same positions every single time without fail. So you can see how that would start to be really, really helpful as you continue to move on, right? We're here to work smarter, not harder. We want to make the language of music much less cryptic, and we're trying to make it so that way you're seeing patterns in places, so it doesn't feel like each challenge or each song is a unique challenge that we have to conquer. In fact, we can look at it as, I've done this pattern before, but in this song and starting from this position in this place. So to me, this is where the theory really starts to become helpful. And hopefully in the next few videos, we're going to do some analysis on some songs, and we're going to break down different patterns and organizations and talk about what they mean and how they fit together. So anyways, I hope I didn't move too fast through this video, but I didn't want this to become a 30-minute long video because I thought people would start to get bored. So I started kind of cramming things a little bit faster. If you need me to do a more detailed analysis or a detailed breakdown, hopefully that will come here in the near future. But in the meantime, I hope that this was very helpful in seeing how all these elements are combined together. If you haven't already, please leave me a thumbs up on this video. Give me a subscribe, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, all you have watched this with me. We've still got a few more videos left here for the month of September, and hopefully you guys stick around with me through all of it. So anyways, thanks again for watching. My name is Alex Bennett. I will see you guys in the next video.